This course will end in May and early June with the American Civil War. Now, that event does not take place until 1861 through 1865, and we are far away from that. However, what we're discussing now with the establishment of the colonies under England partly helps to set the stage for that conflict, which is North versus South. As we've been discussing, there are differences between the New England, Middle, and Southern colonies. The differences begin with simple geography. That's the way the planet was made. In New England and in the northern section, you tend to have more of mountains and rocky hills, whereas in the southern colonies, you have coastal plains. In New England, it's not as fertile, not as good for growing. Southern colonies, very good for growing. As we've discovered, tobacco, as well as many other things, and at a later time, cotton. And the seasons. In New England, you really only have a few months of good weather for farming. But the further south you go, you can farm almost all year round. This image pretty much affirms what we just saw in the previous image. Just the way the world was made. There's going to be a difference between the New England, Middle, and Southern colonies. In New England, yes, they did some farming, but their livelihoods more depended on the ocean. And it is good for growing trees, so a lot of lumber did come from New England. Middle colonies, farming is better, so a lot of their exports that they sent abroad came from farming. Also wood products as well. The further south you go, also their major products for income came from farming items, especially tobacco, which was a cash crop. A lot of money to be made in tobacco. And later, cotton. In addition to differences in natural geography, there were also differences in the colonists, the early colonists who went to each of the colonies. Now, I'm about to make some major generalizations, so certainly this would not apply to everybody that went to New England or Virginia or Pennsylvania or any of the colonies, but as a generalization, the early colonists who came to Virginia tended to be single males looking for economic opportunity, and they came as indentured servants. In fact, 75 to 80% of early colonists to the Virginia area were indentured servants. As a generalization, those going to New England tended to come with their families, were skilled laborers, had skills such as being a tailor or a blacksmith or a shoemaker, and they were seeking religious freedom. And finally, here in the middle, Pennsylvania was settled by Quakers, again with a religious motive, and Quakers are against slavery.